He never hesitated when his choices threatened to burn everything down. In the courtroom, he wore a calm smile, as if pressure couldn't touch him. But beneath that expression was a fear so powerful it would eventually drive him toward a fate no one saw coming. Aaron Hernandez was once a rising star in professional football, playing for the New England Patriots, one of the NFL's most dominant franchises. With a massive contract, national fame, and success on the field, his future looked unstoppable. Teammates admired him. Fans celebrated him. From the outside, his life appeared complete. Away from the spotlight, however, his world was fractured. Hernandez kept close ties to people from his past, blending loyalty with ego, never fully leaving behind the environment he came from. Those around him later described a man constantly on edge, suspicious of others' intentions, convinced that disrespect followed him everywhere. That tension reached a breaking point in June 2013. Prosecutors later alleged that Hernandez grew enraged with Odin Lloyd, a semi-professional football player who was dating the sister of Hernandez's fiancée. The two had spent time together shortly before Lloyd's death, and investigators believe something during that encounter fueled Hernandez's paranoia. In the early hours of June 17th, Lloyd entered a vehicle with Hernandez and two associates. Security footage captured them leaving Hernandez's home. Hours later, the same vehicle returned without Lloyd. Later that day, Lloyd's body was found not far from Hernandez's neighborhood, sending shockwaves through both the local community and the sports world.
And so this guy was jogging, and he found a body. And he came over here and knocked on the door, said, "Would you please call 911?" So that's what we did.
Authorities acted fast. Call logs, private messages between Lloyd and Hernandez, and video captured by Hernandez's own home cameras began to align into a clear sequence of events that led straight back to him. Just days later, Hernandez was taken into custody at his house as cameras recorded every moment. The player once admired for power and dominance on the field was now staring at a courtroom, a jury, and the real chance that his life outside prison was over. When he first appeared before the court, Hernandez seemed unfazed. He leaned back, smiled, and carried himself as though the charges meant nothing. To the public, he looked unshaken. Behind closed doors, however, those close to him told a far different story. Hernandez had confessed that prison terrified him. The thought of spending the rest of his life locked away consumed him, and some said he openly claimed he would rather die than endure decades behind bars. As prosecutors introduced surveillance video, digital trails, and witness testimony, he continued to project calm. But beneath the surface, fear was taking hold. The state outlined a narrative fueled by ego and a fixation on being disrespected, tracing Hernandez's actions in the days before June 17th. Footage showed him leaving his home with Lloyd and later returning without him. His defense pushed back, insisting investigators made assumptions and that media attention had already shaped public opinion. They emphasized his role as a father and fiancé. Throughout the trial, Hernandez kept smiling, though careful observers caught brief flashes of anxiety breaking through. After weeks of arguments and evidence, the jury finally reached a verdict.
Madam Foreperson, on indictment 2013-983-A, charging the defendant Aaron Hernandez with murder, what say you, Madam Foreperson? Is the defendant not guilty, guilty of murder in the first degree, or guilty of murder in the second degree?
Guilty of murder in the first degree.
Madam Foreperson, by which theory or theories, deliberate premeditation and/or extreme atrocity or cruelty?
Extreme atrocity or cruelty.
The verdict was delivered in just a few words, but it changed everything. The man who had entered the courtroom projecting control now faced a future stripped of freedom. In 2015, Aaron Hernandez was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole.
Mr. Hernandez, an indictment BRCR 2013-0983-A, where you're charged with the crime of murder, the jury returning a verdict of murder in the first degree. And in consideration of the crime for which you now stand committed, you are sentenced by order of the court as follows. You are committed to the MCI Cedar Junction for the term of your natural life without the possibility of parole. On BRCR 2013-0983-B, where you were charged with the crime of unlawful possession of a firearm, after the jury finding you guilty and the court in consideration of the crime for which you now stand convicted, You are punished by imprisonment to MCI Cedar Junction for a term of not less than 2.5 years to not more than 3 years, committed concurrent with the life sentence imposed on Count A.
The punishment was absolute. There would be no release, no second chance. Although Hernandez appeared composed in public, those who knew him understood how deeply he feared incarceration. Friends later said his confidence had always been armor, hiding an intense dread of prison life. As months passed, that fear consumed him. Accounts from inside the facility described a man unraveling under isolation and regret. The future he had once feared was now unavoidable. On April 19, 2017, Hernandez was found unresponsive in his cell. Authorities confirmed he had taken his own life. The athlete who once stood before cameras smiling and defiant could not endure the reality he had always believed would destroy him. Behind the fame and bravado was a man overwhelmed by fear, choosing death rather than facing life behind bars.
Aaron Hernandez's death has been ruled a suicide now by the medical examiner, and there are new details about the circumstances surrounding that death. Investigators found 3 handwritten notes next to a Bible in his prison cell. Meantime, his family has filed papers asking the court to preserve all evidence related to his death. Add to that, Odin Lloyd's mother, who spoke to reporters today, her son was the one Hernandez was convicted of killing in 2013. She said she wants to be a voice for mothers who have lost loved ones.
It's not even about Odin Lloyd. It's about the person that committed the crime for Odin Lloyd. If it wasn't for that, you guys wouldn't be here to ask me questions about Odin Lloyd. So today I'm speaking up for Odin Lloyd and for the families out there that is fighting for justice and doesn't have the voice that I can provide for them. You will never know, and you will never understand unless you're in that boat of the tremendous loss. I lost my best friend, I lost my son, I lost the love of my life, I lost a strong bone in my family.
Aaron Hernandez's story illustrates how ego and fear can collide with devastating consequences. It shows that even those who appear powerful and unbreakable can be undone by the weight of their own actions. Do you believe Hernandez reached a breaking point on his own, or do you think there's more to how his story ended? Share your thoughts in the comments, and watch the next story that proves the truth is often darker than it first appears.